Good morning, my tribe. How are you this Thursday morning? It's still cold and crisp here in Dallas, but it's sunny. The sun is shining, which always makes that so much better. And now I'm remembering to turn on my camera. Sometimes I've got two devices here recording, so it's interesting. So today, we had a couple questions come up. Danelle had asked about a shower filter, and I said that we use the Sprite, Spryte. It's about yay big, like a hockey puck, a little wider than a hockey puck. Buy it at Lowe's or Home Depot or on Amazon, and it has a cartridge inside. So I always say, buy the filter, comes with one cartridge, but go ahead and buy the backup cartridge. They say it's about 6-month use, but Scott and I have found that ours gets pretty dirty by 3 to 4 months, and you can tell when it needs to be changed because you lose some water pressure. It removes the chlorine and the fluoride and stuff, so your skin and your hair will appreciate it. So you're not bathing in chloride gas. So, but there are a multitude of versions of shower filters. That one just happened to be a good starting point for us. It's unobtrusive. You unscrew your shower head. It's a universal screw on the pipe, and then you screw your shower head back on. You can get bigger, fancier. This one's about $24.95, so you can spend as much as $200 on a shower filter, but I don't know that that's necessary. Might be a little overkill. So then the other question Misty had asked about, am I doing anything different with the change in weather and the timing? And I notice I'm getting up earlier. My body still thinks it's 6:30, and that is slowly shifting. I'm drinking a lot more warming soups and stews. I think the body says cold, crisp salads just isn't going to do it for me. So I have been doing a lot more warming, beef stew, chili, chicken noodle soup, those kinds of things for the different of the seasons. And I'm anticipating that I will need to take a little more vitamin C and keep up with my D and my zinc. Because boy, the flu is going around. A lot of kids out of school, and the mommies with the flu. So we don't want to get that. But I thought today's topic would be cholesterol. I get a lot of my clients. They'll come in and say, my cholesterol's high, and they want to put me on a statin, and I'll say, what's high? Who established these numbers? And you need to know that the cholesterol number, that value, was pretty much acceptable at 250 for years and years and years. And then when we misunderstood the reason behind heart disease, thinking it was fats, they told us to stop eating foods with cholesterol in it. Stop eating egg yolks and stop eating red meat and stop eating all these things. Well, as it turns out, cholesterol is found in every cell in your body. It is what I call your master hormone. It is the precursor or the founding to every other hormone in your body. It's an essential ingredient for human life. We need cholesterol at the top of the pyramid to then manufacture our own sex hormones and stress hormones. And in fact, we need cholesterol to help us make our vitamin D. That's why I say get out in the sun. The sun hits your skin, your cholesterol responds and helps you manufacture vitamin D. It helps with cell structure. Every cell in your body needs cholesterol for the structure. And what's interesting is that when science or whoever, pharmaceutical reps, whoever it was teaching in the med schools, said, you've got to eat less cholesterol because you've got too much. Well, in fact, your body manufactures 80% of your cholesterol as it is. You only get about 20% from food. So 80% of the cholesterol in your body is manufactured in your liver. And so if you go to the doctor and they run some labs and they say, gosh, your cholesterol is high, his or her first question or statement should be not, I'm going to put you on a statin. The first question or statement should be, why? Why is your cholesterol high? Why is your body excuse me, producing so much cholesterol? Because you produce cholesterol in response to inflammation, to damage, to oxidation, to something going on in your body. And your liver says, I'm getting signals back that there's some damage going on and I need to produce some more cholesterol. I call cholesterol the body's master Band-Aid. When you have damage in your arterial walls, for instance, due to oxidized proteins and sugars, the body responds always in survival mode, always wanting to take care of you, and says, oh, I better lay down a Band-Aid of cholesterol. Now, if this damage continues day after day, year after year, the body isn't thinking, well, what's going to happen to her if the cholesterol is still there in 15 years or it gets worse? So you're laying down that Band-Aid. You're laying down that Band-Aid. And as you lay down that Band-Aid of cholesterol, it might, in fact, thicken and clog that artery, or it might break off and go and cause a stroke. So that buildup is, in fact, dangerous. But the question is, where is that buildup coming from and why? To understand about cholesterol, you need to understand about what we call lipoproteins or lipoproteins. Lipoproteins are little taxi cabs, little cars. Oh, I wish I had a couple little cars here. I love that kind of demonstration teaching. If you had a bunch of little cars that carry passengers, lipoproteins carry cholesterol where it needs to go. So you've got these little taxi cabs. Well, some of the little taxi cabs have HDL in it, some of them have LDL in it, and some of them have triglycerides in it. So when there's an inflammatory, damaging incident in the body, the liver sends out these little taxi cabs with the LDL, what we call the little cholesterol. It's not really cholesterol, but they're lipoproteins that carry throughout the body. So LDL goes to the part of the body that needs it and kind of are like firemen and they put out the fire. Then HDL comes along and gets the excess cholesterol to bring it back to the liver and so that we can excrete it. So when we say we have if we look at our markers, there's your total cholesterol number, and then there's your LDL and your HDL. And if your LDL is high, really high, that's an indication that there's a problem going on somewhere. And that when we say we want higher HDL, we want more of the cleanup crew. We want those more taxi cabs to bring all that back. So we've often heard that you have to have cholesterol under 200. Well, it started at 250, and then somebody in a committee said, no, it's got to be 225, and then it's got to be 210, and then it's, I've heard, believe it or not, pharmaceutical companies say cholesterol should be down in the 120s to 130s. Well, let me tell you what. If your cholesterol's down in 120, 130, you're brain dead. You need cholesterol. The brain needs cholesterol. The brain is fat. And so when a client says, my doctor wants to put me on a statin, I say, well, are they going to castrate you too? Think about it. You can't make testosterone if you don't have cholesterol. So what does that do to a guy? What position does that put him in? Well, then he has to supplant with testosterone, maybe get T pellets in his butt, and then he's going to need Viagra, and then the whole slippery slope. So let's, in fact, address the root cause of why we are producing so much cholesterol. Now, there are some genetic conditions that run in families that overproduce cholesterol, and that is a totally different situation. And you have to talk with your physicians about that. There are people that cholesterol would be like 400 or 500, and we need to know why, again, the liver is overproducing. So it was interesting that if someone says, well, my number is 200, it doesn't tell us the whole picture. It's like saying that the score of a baseball game was 25. Well, was it 25-0? Was it 13-2? 12? Was it a boring game? And this analogy comes from the book by Jimmy Moore, Cholesterol Clarity. Really good book, really written for the layperson to understand that we've got the whole story on cholesterol wrong. Get those hoops in place. We do want to pay attention to, more importantly, our HDL, which we would like it to be higher than 50 and 60. We want to pay attention to the LDL, which is the little guy, the little taxi cabs, and it should be lower than 100. And I have clients whose HDL and LDL are really in lovely form, but their triglycerides are too high. Triglycerides are the oxidized fats, and as a result of processed food, lots of carbs, lots of seed oils can push your triglycerides high. The other risk factor value that we look at is your total cholesterol number divided by your HDL, and we want to see that number to be less than 3. Anything over 3 says we're pushing into cardiovascular territory. How do we raise our HDL? Well, exercise has been linked to higher HDL rate. So it can be circuit training, walking, high intensity, low intensity, strength training, which of course I'm advocating for a lot of strength training these days. Eating lots of healthy fats like olive oil, avocados, fish, coconut, all can raise your HDL. Stop smoking if you're smoking. Well, we have another conversation. And make sure that you are optimizing your weight so to keep your HDL levels in appropriation. Now, if we have high LDL, which we don't want, and we want to lower our LDL, more vegetables, more fiber, because that helps clear it out of the body. And you know the old phrase, you should have nice servings of fruits and vegetables. I like 9 to 12 servings of vegetables every day. Oh my gosh, Leslie, how am I going to eat 9 to 12 portions of vegetables? Well, you throw some arugula or spinach in your omelet or your eggs. You have a salad, my famous big-ass salad that has at least 12 veggies in it, a multitude of greens, vegetables, and then you have some more vegetables at your evening meal. It's not hard to do. You do have to get creative and get out of your broccoli rut. Oh my gosh, don't buy broccoli anymore. Broccolini, maybe. It's more interesting. Asparagus, Brussels sprouts, peppers, radishes, cucumbers, celery are all great wet veggies that help clear estrogen, testosterone, LDL, and toxins out of the body. So stress management is key to also lowering your LDL. And for sure, you've got to reduce your consumption of sugar. And here we go into what we call our sugar season. People like to call it the flu season or the cold season, and the flu is going around. But in fact, it's the sugar season. We have started with Halloween. We're right on the verge of Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas, and then we have New Year's, and then we have Valentine's, and then we have Easter. And all of those holidays have been associated with sugar consumption. You know, guilty, I gave my kids the advent calendar, where you opened up the little door every day and there was a chocolate inside. There's so many other opportunities to change that habit. Open the little door and do a gift of service. Open the little door and there's a storybook. 12 days of praise, 12 days of gratitude. And, you know, I mean, I don't want to be the mean grandma that says you can never have any candy or sugar, but, you know, we know that consumption of sugar, it doesn't have to be very much, it can be a tablespoon, reduces your immune system by and suppresses your immune system by a couple hours. So think about that in the period of when you have the pumpkin pie. Go for a walk, because that helps balance your blood sugars, reduce your LDL, and increase your HDL. But also know that your immune system is suppressed. So tip for the holiday is just everything in moderation, and or, you know, choose wisely. I'm traveling, and in my newsletter that's coming out today, we're talking about the fact that I will take my probiotics, my digestive enzymes, and my activated charcoal. Activated charcoal acts as a binder. If I get food poisoning, eat too much, consume too much alcohol, it acts as a binder. It's always a good thing to have on hand when you're traveling. So that's our cholesterol talk today. If I have not answered any of your questions, please comment. You know, let's talk about it. If you'd like me to evaluate your latest blood work, or you haven't had blood work done in a while, I have the perfect panel. It's called the Redeeming Wellness Complete Panel. Very comprehensive with all the markers that you need to know to keep your ship on course. We don't want to drift. We're going to stay on course, because aging with limitless vitality, aging with confidence, strength, and grace is all I'm what about. Thank you for being with me here today, and we will see. I won't see you next week. I might pop in and say hi for a moment because it's Thanksgiving, and I'll be in Boise with the grandbabies.